Hi, I just watched Don't Look Up on Netflix and I want to analyze it. And one of the things I want to talk about is there's a presidential cabinet meeting and they're launching, it's like a situation room, and they're launching a preventative missile strike to destroy a comet that is going to destroy the world if they don't destroy it. And during the mission, everything is going well, but a cell phone tycoon walks in. Cell phone company tycoon walks in to the room. And Leonardo DiCaprio, who's like new on the team, he's an astrologist who discovered the comet. He is like, does he have clearance to be here? Like this Jeff Bezos guy? And they say, oh, he's a platinum donor, which gives him full security clearance. Fascinating. I would call that a truth drop, but it's so believable. The whole the whole movie is like a satire. You know, it's not to be taken too literally. However, in that instance, I think you could argue that are real world scenarios with someone like a company like Google who made this phone, and then a guy like Joe Biden who can barely talk. Last time I checked, Google's interests supersede the interests of the American people, which Joe Biden allegedly represents, right? So if Joe Biden has to make a decision, does the buck stop at Joe? Probably not. There's probably a Bezos or, whoever it is, you know, and these super wealthy business moguls or corporations and corporate interests, in the movie, they end up ruining the mission because they discover the planet has cellular phone technology, rare minerals. So they make the decision to forego the destruction plan and try a more dangerous salvage plan, which backfires and the planet is destroyed. But as the planet is being destroyed and the president realizes it didn't work, she does plan B, which is escape. So she gets on a spaceship set to a Goldilocks zone with, like, people freezing in it. And when they get to the new planet at the end of the movie and the president steps out, the only people there are like the worst. The impression they're giving you in the movie is that the foulest portion of humanity is the one that survives. Like all that lives on of humanity, if the earth is destroyed and only some of us get off and have enough money to go to a new planet and live, those types, the people that live will be the sociopathic ones with all the money or whatever. I think that's what the movie's saying, but it's another disturbing thought. But ultimately, there are birds on the planet that eat the president and eat everyone. So, it's actually kind of confusing to analyze this movie because, on the one hand, there's fucking things in my way. On the one hand, you have star-studded cast. Obviously, I'm supposed to see this movie. The entertainment comes from the cast and the humor, I guess the plot. But it's almost like I would have watched that movie. It's hard to explain. I would have watched that movie if it was about anything because it's got all my favorite actors and actresses in it, and it's brand new and it's on Netflix and it's interesting. But it's almost like here's my point. Did they make that script to entertain you, or are they entertaining you super well and they know that you're entertained independently of plot? and then they can put plot elements that they want to shape the public's mind with. But they've got such a star-studded cast that if you're purely looking for entertainment, it's the obvious choice is the new Leonardo DiCaprio Netflix special. You really don't have a choice. I mean, that's what they're giving you. That's what Hollywood's been working on. And they said, here's our best thing for you to enjoy, public. This is the best entertainment we have. And so I consume the entertainment, and so do you, and so does everyone. But are we really getting the best story we could, or are we getting hidden messages that are helping us? Like, is the author saying, guys, the president doesn't have control. Let me show you this stupid movie where they blow up the whole planet because the president is outranked by a cell phone company. Or is it nefarious and is it strictly entertainment, or is it benevolent, like here's some secret truths, or is it nefarious, which would be programming people? And I'll give you a perfect example. I once made a video like this, and I said I was ranting about conspiracies or fake news, how fake the news is. And I said, if the news said that a comet was coming to hit where I am and wipe everyone out and kill me, and the news said, leave the country, leave the state, leave the town, I said I would look up. And if I don't see the comet with my own two eyes, or telescope maybe, I would literally not go. I wouldn't leave. Like, that's how much I don't believe the media. Like, I would think it would be more than likely a ruse to get everyone out of the city for Plan X or whatever they're doing, whatever. So I've actually contemplated this before and came to the conclusion that I wouldn't believe them even if they told me a comet was, because like they say COVID's coming to kill me, I don't believe them. Even a comet, I wouldn't believe them. Most likely, right? I give them enough credibility to look up and see if evidence of reality corroborates with the portrayed reality of the media. Like, does my objective reality meet the portrayed reality? In COVID, of course it doesn't. And in the comet, if I can't see it, it doesn't. And so, where was I going with that? Well, the comet, okay. In the movie, there are conspiracy theorists that don't believe the comet is real. The comet is real. In the plot of the movie, there is no doubt the comet is coming and it's going to destroy Earth. It's not going to miss Earth, and it's too big for us to survive. So that much is indisputable within the realm of the movie. So within the realm of the movie, there's overwhelming scientific evidence, eyeball evidence, everything. All the evidence is the comet is going to kill you, kill everyone on Earth. And yet, there are still 27% of people in the polls saying, I don't even think there's a comet. Now, this is fascinating because now they've given you, if you're just watching this, you're Susie and you're 18 and you're worried about prom or something, and you're just watching this and you're thinking about your boyfriend the whole time, and is he going to put my armor or his armor on me? If you're like that and you're just watching this for entertainment, in your mind is programmed that even when you've seen it with your own eyes, and every scientist in the world all agree that the comet is coming and going to kill everyone, there will still be 30% of people that are conspiracy theorists and just, fly in the face of science and just completely deny the obvious scientific consensus fact. And this is fascinating because now when something comes out, or in the future or in the past, when something comes out like COVID or something sketchy in real life, that there are super intelligent people such as myself who have serious questions about the validity of our, or you know, the aggressiveness of our response, the efficiency of that, or whatever. Doesn't matter. But I can't do that anymore, right? Because the 18-year-old Susie, when she hears about someone like someone articulating doubt of the scientific consensus presented by the media, this girl, the mind of the 18-year-old girl, she's been conditioned and trained to expect the percentage of people that deny the news to exist, whether the news is true or false. In other words, she won't raise an eyebrow. So half the people in Susie's world could say that an event is fake and the news is lying, and she would still believe it because she knows, based upon the subconscious programming of the movie, that there are people that will deny an event even though it's undeniable. And then so the news can come out 5 years from now with a bullshit story, and they can talk about all the crazy conspiracy theorists who deny it. And if anyone comes out and denies it, it falls on deaf ears because you're part of that crowd of irrational people that even when a comet is coming and they can see it, they still don't believe it. And the movie's called Don't Look Up because there's like a campaign going on at one point between, like, Leo's with the president and then he leaves, and then it's Don't Look Up or Don't Look, or Just Look Up or Don't Look Up. Those are the two campaigns. Just Look Up is Jennifer Lawrence and Leo saying, just look up at the comet and you'll see that it's real. And Don't Look Up, I never really got into that, but I guess the idea is don't even bother to look up because we have it under control or something. I don't know. But the people in the don't look up camp, it's very interesting. They like chant it like it becomes a political thing, and to be ignorant, like to not look, like you're not even gonna look. Everyone in the world is arguing about whether to look up or not, and you're not even gonna look. Like, that's the first thing I would do if someone was saying look or don't look. It's like, if everyone's fighting over it, of course I'm gonna take a peek. But anyways, so it's weird. But the don't look up people, they haven't been looking up, and they're at the rally and they're chanting in support of the president, and then they see, and then they get mad. This part of the plot was a little fuzzy, but the insightful things I have to say are about the cell phone company CEO being ahead of the President of the United States in decision making on life and death planetary events. It's probably true. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you look at the military and how it'll do business with Google or Amazon, AWS, and all that stuff. It's like, in any planetary decision, I think you would have a representative of Google and Amazon involved in the decision-making process. And the interest of those companies very well might conflict with the interest of the human species as a whole, or the American people. But if a comet really did come in this exact scenario in the script, do we right now have the leadership required to survive? Because in the movie, humanity fails. The escape mission fails, they all get eaten, and everyone on Earth has died. So humanity itself is a failure because, we had this glimmer of consciousness, this chance, and this might be our 117th chance, it might be our first chance, it might be our billion and one chance, and billion and first chance, and we've failed a billion times. We've gone extinct in other galaxies or something, other forms of consciousness, people, I don't know. It's mostly just consciousness is what it comes down to. And we are consciousness, and we're all so concerned about fucking each other and killing each other and all that. But what it really comes down to is this universe of cosmic whatever, goo. Part of it is sentient, and we're that part. We're the best part of that. Like the most sophisticated sentience that I've heard of, right? So, we have an obligation to keep that sentience alive, because with proper sentience, you could orchestrate all that cosmic goo and matter into a beneficial way for the, permanent preservation and happiness of the species. Like, that would be really cool to get right, to be a part of. Like, hey, I was part of the consciousness group called Homo sapiens that, we actually pulled it off. We put our differences aside, and we were able to outlive Earth, right? That's what it comes down to. The sun exploded or whatever, but we were long gone by there with good leadership, good democracy, or whatever, good government, or anarchy, whatever works. But we survived. We avoided extinction, And, is the author saying, like I said, is it a warning or entertainment or nefarious? I think it's nefarious because, like I said, the programming of slipping into the movie that there's a line in the movie where they say, some people say that, so conspiracy theorists say that Jewish millionaires made up the threat of the comet so that they could blah, blah, blah. I forget the benefit of why they wanted people to panic, but the point of that movie and why it's nefarious is that if they wanted to, 10 years from now, they could come on the news and say, guys, a comet is headed for Africa. It's going to blow up. Everyone in Africa, you got to leave. And let's say your home is Africa and you hear that. And you don't want to leave because Africa is like awesome. You'll be called a conspiracy theorist and crazy for not wanting to leave your home. And the media would be able to get everybody out of Africa and make it look to the rest of the world that Africa was destroyed. But really, it could just be a game, a plot to evacuate Africa so they can all go and use it for themselves. I mean, it's a stupid example, but there's, it's beneficial. Like, if I know the world is not going to end, but I can convince someone else that the world is going to end, I have privileged information that I can leverage against them, right? So if you think the world's going to end and I know that it's not, I can loan you $500 at a 600% interest rate, and you'll take it because you think I'm dumb You take my money, spend it with no intention of paying it back because you think the world is ending. And then, surprise, the world didn't end, and now I own your wife and kids. So obviously, that's another stupid example, but I'm just demonstrating that privileged information has its purposes. So the government can come out and say that COVID is going to wipe out 37% of the population, or whatever fucking stupid shit they said in the very first announcement. And even if it's total bullshit, they're just good enough liars and manipulators with all these movies and everything to get you to believe it. That's really it. And then just ending thoughts on relating it to COVID is asymptomatic transmission is it's necessary. The theory of asymptomatic transmission is necessary to every single draconian COVID enforcement. Because if asymptomatic transmission was impossible, meaning that healthy people cannot get you sick or do not get you sick, if that were true, then there would be no need to when you have someone like me who's perfectly healthy. I'm not going to use me as an example. When you have a perfectly healthy, unvaccinated, unmasked man walking down the street, there's no reason to put a mask on him or force him to get vaccinated unless you believe that although he's happy, asymptomatic, and healthy, he's still going to get you sick and kill you. So for your sake, he should do the mask and the vax. That's the only argument for it. Because if asymptomatic transmission is true, it's possible, then you can make an argument for treating healthy people like they're sick. But if you can't, you can't. And humans have been alive for thousands of years, and we've evolved noses, mouths, breathing strategies, immune systems. We can kiss each other, we can have sex with each other, and you're encountering an entire person's immune system. You make out with a stranger at a party or something. And, we're just really good at that. It's not hard. Like, the idea that suddenly we need to just rewrite the entire human understanding of illnesses or contagions. We have to rewrite the entire understanding of contagious diseases. It's ludicrous. I mean, all you have to do is the same shit that you've always done, which is, hey, my girlfriend's, she's sick. Should I have sex with her? You weigh it. You're like, do I want to get sick? Is it worth it? Should we have sex but not kiss? Or maybe you're feeling a little sick and you're like, should I go into the office? I really need to have a good day of work today, but I don't want to get the office sick. And this is pre-COVID. Just think of how you used to think about illness. I'm sick, but I'll go in. I'll try not to, I won't share drinks with anyone. I feel good enough to go out with my friends, but also bad enough to tell them, let's not share the same beer glass, right? Like, everyone knows intuitively, if someone coughs at you, you cannot help yourself, your body will be repulsed by that person. You cannot get away from that. There's millions of years of evolution. So if I'm sneezing and coughing and sick, and I'm a danger to you, getting you sick, you don't need to go read a book about diseases or watch the news and learn what you're supposed to do. And doctor says 6 feet. You literally have thousands of years of programming in your body to be repulsed by disease. Okay? That's why the opposite of disease, like a perfectly healthy opposite sex person, is incredibly attractive to you. And then a dying, bloody mess of a drug addict, which I've dealt with, is the most repulsive thing. Because if I wasn't repulsed by dead bodies when I encountered my dead roommate who OD'd, if I wasn't repulsed by him, if I was attracted to dead bodies, I would, interact with the dead body for more than I needed to get him out of the, whatever, to call 911 or whatever. And if I wasn't so repulsed by him, I might actually pick up a disease and die. So there's no book you can read. You're up against billions of years. Like, we are sentience at the highest known level of all time. And we're still stupid enough to ruin it until people start I don't know. Occasionally, I see something like that in a movie, and I feel that I have something to say that is potentially valuable. If I'm just wasting my time, fine. But I wanted to say that shit about the fucking tycoon blowing up Earth because he's trying to mine some minerals on the incoming comet, and him having authority over the president, and then the evidence of the comet being indisputable, and yet polls show that 50% of people think it's not real. That is deliberately in that movie to get you to think that even when COVID, or even when the next crisis is beyond reasonable doubt real, indisputable, there will still be people who doubt it. Therefore, if you ever hear someone doubt the news, you think, well, they're probably just part of that group of people that doubts the news regardless. But the truth is, when 50% of people think that Osama bin Laden didn't do exactly what we said he did, it's because he didn't. And if you read in a poll somewhere that 25% of people with an IQ above 140 think that we didn't go to the moon in 1969, I just made that up. But if you were to read that stat, even take out the IQ part, just 25% of Americans believe we never went to the moon. If you were to read that stat somewhere, you would think that says something about humanity itself rather than the event. Like, if you think it's about humanity itself, you think, wow, there are 25% of people that will deny a fact. But the truth is, there are lies that are accepted as fact, and then 50% of humans are smart enough to detect the lie, and the other 50% are stupid enough to think that the people detecting the lie are the idiots. So, whatever. God bless. Good movie. was fun. Jonah Hill, hilarious.